Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Modest Intentions, and today we're going to possibly ruin a few romantical expectations for those of you out there who still believe that an overly expensive pair of headphones or monitor speakers are gonna do the trick for you. Don't worry though, in the process, to be as honest as possible, I'm going to be critical of myself in the past as well. So it might be a bit difficult to shit on myself, while there are people out there who create custom composite cables for their audio systems. I mean, just take a look at this. What the actual fuck? And though I'd love to hear a few more times about how amazing they are and how the sound is so much better, there is no actual way to know what's good or what's bad. It's unclear where you should draw the line. There is no scientific consensus on the criteria of measuring sound systems. And even though different articles try to convince you that resources like Inner Fidelity give us the best picture of how headphones should be measured, they really don't. In this video, I'm going to ask inconvenient questions about headphones burn, the necessity of expensive monitor speakers, the importance of quality of the room treatment, and if you should use the curve fixing on your headphones. And you know, composite cables.
What in the actual fuck?
Have you ever experienced a temporary loss of hearing around mid and high range frequencies after listening to loud music on a night out? Your friend is trying to ask you to catch a cab or get him something to eat, and you struggle to hear what he says. This is temporary hearing damage, but technically, this is the same process as calibration of your inner equalizer. This actually works in a similar way on a smaller scale. Say, you're sitting by the sea and enjoying the birds singing with the noise of waves hitting the shore. As wonderful as this is, being exposed to different kinds of noises, even mild ones, will change your perception of sound. I bet you heard this before. You should warm up your ears before you start making music. And this is where I want to stop because I don't understand how this works. Do I understand correctly that we perceive sound on 3 different levels? First, it's our ears that need to be adjusted, then it's our headphones that we need to get used to, then it's like an amplifier for headphones, or if we're using monitor speakers, it's like an audio card as well, which kind of possibly changes the sound a little bit as well. So how can we objectively measure sound? Cherry on cake, companies that work with top-end technology try their best to delay you returning your headphones by claiming that your sound will become better with time. They are actually really smart. They know exactly what I just told you and are waiting until you get fully comfortable with the type of sound the source provides. And honestly, after spending hours and hours online trying to find any meaningful information on burning of the headphones and amplifiers, here is my conclusion. There is no scientific evidence or any sort of consensus in the community or among sound engineers that the sound burning exists. There is also no physics or maths to back up the claims, and if you know anything about logic, what can be proven does not exist. I'm generally a realist, and I believe that being a smart musician is more important than being an inspired musician. But this way of thinking took a long time to develop. In my previous video called The Dark Side of Being a Drum and Bass Producer, I showed you how many streams some of my songs generated and stuff. And honestly, those tracks which generated me like 500,000 to 300,000 streams, or those songs which got featured in computer games, none of those songs were made on big studios. Most of those songs were made on cheap, shitty laptops with really cheap set of headphones and maybe like speakers which cost me like $50. And it's only recently that like maybe 5 or 6 years ago that I started to build my studio here. So honestly, you can get adjusted to any type of sound, and you can hear that in this room where I'm sitting right now, the amount of reverb is insane. It's a living room and it's kind of empty. The worst place where you can be producing music. Nevertheless, I still made a demo like this entirely on my monitors. Honestly, I think this is one of my best demos of all time. Yeah, of course I cannot show you the whole track because it's not signed, it's not finished, nothing. And if I want this track to be released somewhere, I want to make sure that there's no problem with labels or whatever. But honestly, I bought these headphones, which are extremely expensive, with the extremely expensive amplifier, and I haven't touched them once. I used my friend's KRK 5s which are the monitors which cost like $500, which is not a big investment if you ask me. And I made this demo entirely from scratch with them in a completely untreated room. And as you can see, as far as you understand the technology of synthesis, you can still make things happen regardless of what situation you're in. You probably realize that the point of this video is to tell you that there's no objectively good or bad sound system. And there are too many opinions. You can find the most expensive setup online, and there will still be a lot of people actually that will tell you that I don't like this, I prefer this. Why? If it's objectively good, then there shouldn't be questions. There shouldn't be that many opinions. Of course, some people do have weird perception, but if something is objectively good, like say a $5 cheap headphone against this pair of headphones, there's an objective difference, right? There's an objective difference, but the more closer the price tags, the less you can actually tell if it's your opinion, if it's your brain not calibrated, or if it's actual like bad headphones against good headphones. It's all a matter of opinion from that point, and you can't really draw the line. So I want you guys to not be as focused on the sound system that you have. I'm sitting in a shitty room and I think I made the best demo. As long as you have the desire to make music, you will get adapted, your hearing will get adapted to any type of technology. But of course, it's very hard to draw the line. What is better, what is worse? So you should always have options. Best thing you can do to yourself to check your mixing, to check your mastering, to check your sound is to test it out on different sound systems. If you have a car, always listen to your music in the car. If you have 4, 6, 8 pairs of speakers, monitors, always test your music on each single one of them. A lot of the times I find errors in mixing when I'm listening to music in the most unexpected places, like from a mobile speaker or from my car speakers, and I'm like, I wonder why this snare is so loud. I was sitting in my 2000 euros worth setup and I haven't found the problem with the snare, and I hear it in this car. And this is because, you need to test your music in different environments. That will help you along much more than to have one specific setup which is really expensive, and also it doesn't make sense that it's that expensive. So it really surprises me that a lot of people will buy uber high-end gear and then use external software to balance out the curve. It's rubbish, honestly. Considering everything, it's only useful for your sound systems if they somehow harm your hearing, which is definitely not a signature mark of good gear. As much as I do accept that my expensive headphones are better than my old ones, it is mainly because how convenient they are and how wide the stereo stage is. The frequency response is something I can adapt to. Once I bought them, I instantly started improving as a producer and I kept telling my friends about it. But now, sometime later, my emotions have cooled down, and I can assure you that this is a coincidence. I was chasing a particular sound for years and have come to understand the technology of synthesis, and this is basically what made it happen. If this video helped you, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so I could make more of these. If you wish to find my samples, reach out to me for one-on-one lessons or ask me anything, check the info in description. Best of luck in your musical journey and see you soon.